A woman claims she called ICE on a Hyundai plant in Georgia that led up to the raid, bragging about it. Here it is.
Federal immigration agents detained more than 450 people at a Hyundai manufacturing site just west of Savannah, Georgia. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives said multiple agencies helped carry out this operation. Authorities claim it was connected to an investigation over unlawful employment practices. The 3,000-acre site has only been operational for a year.
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
All right, well, let's talk about it. Put it up full mass. According to Rolling Stone, Tory Branham is a Marine Corps veteran, firearms instructor, and Republican candidate for Georgia's 12th congressional district, and a proud Trump supporter. As agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security were still carrying out a raid at this Hyundai plant in rural Bryan County, just outside the district that she is running to serve, she expressed pride in something else: her purported role in causing the raid herself, which resulted in the arrest of 450 people, according to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Quote, "How do I feel about it?" she says. "Good." Branham tells Rolling Stone, quote, "I have no feelings about the law. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong." Can we zoom out just for a moment? She has no feelings about the law. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. Many years ago, a wise man named Dick Gregory came on my radio show, and he said, "Doc, be very careful, because these folks will have you thinking what's legal is right and what's illegal is always wrong. And if we buy that, no Black person would be able to sit at a dinner counter. No Black person would be able to sit where they wanted to on a bus. Hell, Black people still wouldn't be able to purchase a Coca-Cola, because those were your laws. But there's a moral paradigm, an ethical aspiration that we look toward. And this woman says, the law is the law. But they seem to dismiss that law when it comes to their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump. They dismiss it. All of his convictions, jury of peers, by the way, constitutional rights intact, the law doesn't apply to him. So they become apologists for one man and the prosecutors of the poor. All right, let's get into it. So the raid was one of the largest in ICE history, eclipsing a raid at a California cannabis farm that netted some 300 undocumented workers. The congressional candidate says the Hyundai mega site, as she calls it, which opened in March and was hailed as a major economic development win for Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp, who's a Republican, has been the subject of rumors for months that undocumented immigrants were working there or on construction sites within the massive 2,900-acre complex. Their workers, 3 workers precisely, have died during construction at the site. Aware of safety issues and rumors about undocumented immigrants working there, this candidate says she came into contact with a local Spanish-speaking union worker who had access to the site. The plant itself is not union. Many workers there are from South Korea and are in the United States on H-1B visas, the ones that Trump likes. The South Korean government confirmed to the New York Times that some South Korean workers were detained by immigration agents. While the plant itself is not union, construction sites at the facility have been staffed by union tradesmen, some of whom have complained about undocumented workers and unsafe conditions. The union worker who came into contact with this candidate recorded some conversations they had with people, she tells Rolling Stone. She claims the union worker had discovered that undocumented immigrants were working on construction projects at plant. Quote, they were a union member, and the people confided in them because they had helped them win lawsuits over unsafe working conditions. She said she declined to name the union worker who acted as the informant. From there, she says she reached out to ICE on the agency's website, and an agent then contacted her. On September 4th, as agents from ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, Customs and Border Protection, the U.S. Marshals, the DEA, and the FBI were still raiding the facility, this candidate took credit for it on Facebook. Quote, for months, folks have whispered about what's going on behind those gates. Now the truth is finally catching up. She wrote on her Facebook page, quote, I reported this site to ICE a few months ago and was on the phone with an agent. This is what I voted for, to get rid of a lot of illegals, she tells Rolling Stone. And what I voted for is happening. I'm going to get into the negative economic impact and talk about the lack of humanity in this approach. But I just want to remind everyone that the subsection of the same federal law that says it's illegal to work undocumented in the United States of America also provides that it is illegal to recruit and to hire undocumented workers. So until the CEO of Hyundai is doing a perk walk with everybody else, there's unequal application of these laws every time. Here we go. The impact of an immigration raid on this Hyundai factory on Thursday is reverberating far beyond its rural Georgia home. It also jolted a company that has poured billions in America's South, helping transform the region into a major global auto manufacturing hub. For South Korea, the raid hit a national champion that has played a decades-long role in deepening economic ties with the Western ally. In recent months, South Korean officials have met with the Trump administration for trade talks and announced massive investments in the United States. After Lee's August summit at the White House, South Korea unveiled a $150 billion investment into the U.S., backed by private companies. One of those companies, Hyundai Motor Group, announced $26 billion alone, part of which would go toward a new steel mill plant in Louisiana. The Hyundai factory, raided on Thursday in Ellabell, Georgia, about 30 miles west of Savannah, is the company's largest manufacturing footprint in the South. The facility had its grand opening in late March with an event that was attended by Governor Brian Kemp, once again a Republican. With a joint investment from LG Energy Solutions, so-called Meta plant grew into a $7.59 billion investment, projected to bring 8,500 jobs to the state of Georgia. Parts of the 3,000-acre campus were still under construction during the raid. A spokesperson for LG Energy Solutions said about 250 affected workers were still affiliated with the HL Georgia Battery Company, a joint venture between the Hyundai Motor Group and LG Energy Solution. A.J. Jacobs, an East Carolina University professor who has written 2 volumes on the Korean automotive industry, told Business Insider that Hyundai has so far supported nearly 30,000 direct and indirect jobs in the United States. Hyundai's first major U.S. plant was completed in Montgomery, Alabama in 2005 and 2009. The Korean automaker opened another plant about 90 miles away in West Point, Georgia, bringing in another 3,200 jobs. The reason why these numbers are important is because the very leverage used in order to maintain an anti-immigration narrative is jobs. But when you literally have an economic ally bringing in jobs, and you have basically no CEOs who are caught up in the alleged criminality of these undocumented workers, it starts to paint a picture of what's really at play. Because if it's not about jobs, if it's not about sustainability, if it's not about all of these other elements you have put in the forefront of the American voter, well, you have one thing left: bigotry, racism. That's all you have left. You can't make the economic argument. You can no longer make the jobs argument. What argument do you have? All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Listen, the Karen, who's amongst the people that Dick Gregory warned you about, the one with the Kate plus 8 hairdo.
Yeah.
She's very telling in the way she approached this. You see, she didn't just do what an arsonist does. They light the fire and then they might sneak back to watch it burn. It really stimulates their system. She wanted you to know she did this. We wouldn't even know. She could have giggled amongst herself, whispered it to her girlfriend who also has Karenicity. That's not what happened here, because cruelty is the point. This is an insecure person, and we are working and living amongst so many in society today who believe that the people who are bringing jobs to Georgia are the ones that are stealing their American dream. Just stupidity and insecurity, Doc.
Yeah. And once again, counter to the Republican leadership of the state of Georgia, who worked hard to recruit jobs for those living in places like Bryan County and others that are very rural with little opportunity for gainful employment outside of manufacturing.